Good morning. My name is David Angueira. I am a senior trial lawyer here at Swartz Swartz in Boston. And today I'd like to speak with you about a negligence claim. Many of you have heard that word negligence, but what does it mean in a legal context? So we do a tremendous amount of negligence work here at Swartz Swartz, which typically involves personal injury. That includes any kind of injury, including physical, emotional injuries, and even wrongful death. So in order to bring a claim for negligence, there are basically four things that we have to prove on behalf of our clients. The first thing is there a legal duty on the part of the person that you're suing to do the things that you claim that he or she should have done? Number two, is there a breach of that duty? I'm going to go through the four elements and I'll explain them in a little more detail. Number three, I should say, was there an injury? Was there a death of physical or emotional injury? And the last element, which is just as important as all the other elements, is causation. That means whether or not the breach of the duty by the defendant legally caused the injury that you're claiming was caused by that person. So let's walk through those very briefly. A duty is typically defined by our courts in Massachusetts, and this same concept of negligence applies all over the country. But the courts interpret duties in different ways. So a simple explanation, if you're driving a car, you have a legal duty to be aware of your surroundings, keep a proper look at, not being texting, not being distracted, but looking around you to make sure that you don't have an accident, okay? And that accident is your fault. That's an example of a legal duty. Other legal duties can depend on the circumstances, but the courts and the law defines whether or not there's a duty. Number two, is there a breach of that duty? Now, a breach of the duty is typically a fact question that's left up to a jury, not a judge. The judge can decide if there's a legal duty, but typically the judge will not decide if there's a breach or violation of that duty. And that could be something the person did wrong or something the person did not do that should have been done. And that technically is a breach of the duty. Then you have damages. Well, what happened to the person in the accident? Did the person get hurt physically? Or did the person get hurt emotionally? Because oftentimes emotional injuries are just as severe, sometimes even worse than the physical injury, or both emotional and physical. And then the last element is causation. Did the breach of the duty by the defendant legally cause the injuries to that person? Those are the four elements of negligence that we have to prove on behalf of any of our clients that come to us. But the important thing is that as simple as this sounds, it can be very technical. So my advice and recommendation is if you've been injured in any type of a situation, you ought to call a lawyer to discuss the matter with him. And we are here at Swartz Swartz ready to answer any of your questions that you have and help guide you through what could be a very complicated process. We can certainly simplify that for you and give you the right answer. Thank you for listening and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.